الذين آمنوا وهاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله بأموالهم وأنفسهم أعظم درجة عند الله وأولئك هم الفائزون.
Pada hari ini untuk aktiviti Mosque Open Day di Masjid Kapital Turai close down, dan juga kita buat stream dakwah. Dakwah merupakan satu daripada fokus aktiviti utama Aksin, dan dengan dakwah kita dapat menyampaikan Islam itu sebagai rahmatan lil alamin kepada semua.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalahu Allah asrafil anbiya misalin. Wala alihi wasabin ajmain. Sorry, that's a bit of interruption. So yeah, good evening. Welcome to another episode of My Journey to Islam, all the way from Axin, and welcome everyone to tonight's episode. My name is Ilin Aisha, the moderator for this program, and hope everyone has taken your dinner and had your salat, and we are here online. Even though it's online, but Alhamdulillah, we get to meet again, right? So this is July, and we are into the 7th episode for this year. All right. So before I proceed, I would like to invite all our followers and friends and fans who are on Facebook. If you're on Accent Facebook, we would like to invite you to like and share. Okay, share out tonight's program, and this is the least you could do to join us in these dakwah activities and effort. Right? And we also have Zoom link for friends who would like to join us. All right. So tonight, Haji Jamal is here as well.
Yeah.
Haji Jamal, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Right. So,
welcome. Dr. Ungaran, welcome to our show, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
Good. So, as many of our followers and fans who had been following us for the past, I think more than coming 2 years with this My Journey to Islam program, you are aware that this is a very inspiring program that every month we bring to you personalities from all over the world to share with us their journey from how they found Islam and they fell in love with Islam and what they are doing now to create more awareness, right? So tonight, mashallah, we have another inspiring personality here, Dr. Ungaran Rashid, right? So before we proceed, may I invite Haji Jamal to maybe say a few words before we proceed with the chit chat.
Thank you. Thank you, Elaine. It's a pleasure to be in this program again this month, and we are very happy to have Dr. Ungaran Rashid. I remember meeting Dr. Ungaran about 2 months ago in one of the seminars, and I was sitting beside him. I did not know him. I said, who is this gentleman? Because most of the other people in the seminar room we were aware of. So after some introduction and chit chat with him, we found out that he is a man of a lot of knowledge, experience that he can share with us tonight, inshallah. And we are very happy and honored to have Dr. Ungaran Rashid, who's from International Islamic University, to share his experience with us. And thank you, Elaine. I think we will enjoy the next hour of the show, inshallah. Thank you.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Haji Jamal. Always bring to us all kind of, not say all kind of people, but very inspiring people. Yeah, we because this program, I think we started like almost 2 years, yeah. So yeah, one of the commitment is really to keep the show going, which I think we are doing it and enjoying it without us realizing that it's been almost two years. And without fail, Haji Jamal will always scout and look for, personality to come on the show. From all the way from Hong Kong, from Africa, from, I can't remember, China,
Japan.
and Japan.
Papua New Guinea, yeah.
Papua New Guinea, yeah. So today, yeah. So without further ado, we would like to allow me to do a little bit of introduction for our speaker tonight, also our invited guest tonight. So basically, Dr. Ungaran Rashid, I call you Dr. Rashid, yeah. Okay, so at the moment, Dr. Rashid is the assistant professor at IIUM Gombak campus, yeah, the International Islamic University Malaysia. So currently holding the position as the assistant professor and holds a Sarjana Theology, which is equal to Master of Divinity in American System from a Christian seminary in Indonesia, master and doctorate degree in comparative religion from International Islamic University Malaysia. Yeah. So having studied in both Christianity and also Islamic, I believe you have a lot that you can share with us tonight. Yeah. So without wasting more time, can I invite, pass the mic over to Dr. Rashid? We'd like to hear from you, maybe a little bit about your background, where you're from, about your family, a little bit, before we chat further. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, I am from Indonesia. I was born in Bandung, the third biggest city in Indonesia, and I was born in the downtown of Bandung. So that is a mixed area, Chinese, Sundanese, and other people group in Indonesia live together. And for me, that is a good, what do I have to say, a good environment to teach me how to respect other religion, okay? Because Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Hindus, and also in Sundanese belief, we have native belief. That is my background. To be honest, I don't know when I was born what religion I embraced. I believe I didn't embrace any religion when I was born.
All right, so it's like
baby,
no idea,
right?
like kosong,
as
like
a baby, as a baby. Yeah, because in my family, I mean extended family, we are also mixed. Christian, Muslim, some of my relatives are Muslims. Even my sister of my grandfather was Buddhist because she married a Buddhist, a Chinese Buddhist. Then also in my area, interesting to say, in a small area, like maybe what is in Indonesia, we have rukun warga. That is about 500 houses. Okay, in that small area, we had 2 mosques, 2 churches, and 2 Buddhist temples. So I was born in that situation, in that environment. So my friends, when I was young, when I was child, mixed Buddhists, Christian, Muslims, and other religious. That is my background. I went to public school. Then usually in Indonesia, public school, in the public school, we have to learn about Islam. Yeah, we have to learn about Islam. So I learned a little bit about Islam, and many of my friends thought that I was a Muslim, but actually I was not. If someone asked me about 25 prophets according to Islam, I knew that. But if someone asked me to read Quran, then I was not able because I didn't learn. Yeah.
So how do you feel that time when they thought that you were Muslim, and you know, how did you feel that time? You feel
you know, I didn't care about that actually. People call me whatever, it's okay for me. Even now, many people think that I'm a Filipino, and I said, okay, if you think I am a Filipino, just go ahead. Malay, it's okay. Chinese is okay. Yeah, that is maybe because I was raised in a situation that we live in harmony
Right.
from very various background
Right.
in terms of religious background, in terms of cultural background. So it's okay for me.
Yeah, so it's very it's a
Diverse.
diversity. Yeah,
Yeah.
very diverse, multi. So you're
Mhm.
used to it. Yeah, I think that's Islam actually. Many to
Mhm.
maybe to certain people they think Islam is only for one maybe specific category or yeah, but it's actually global. It's for
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So from that, we can sense that where you came from and that
Mhm.
mentality and mindset you had since you were young. Yeah.
Yep.
Then
Yep.
after that, what happened? What happened? Like,
Then when I was about uh, 21 years old, 21 or 22, then I realized that my life was very far from God. Then finally, I repented. I mean, repented here became closer to God. I tried to forget my past. Uh, then maybe people will say became pious person, but yeah, I was still like previously, except I started to avoid alcohol. I started to avoid cigarette, stop smoking, and other thing, other bad things that I did before.
bad thing. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a young age, that was like in your early 20s.
yeah, 21, 22.
I'm sure your
Uh,
friend around you will be like, hey, you're too young to repent. And there's still a lot of things to enjoy.
yeah, yeah. So many friends said, "Hey, now you try uh, to be a monk," like, because I withdrew myself from uh, my bed environment. Yeah. Then to understand more, to understand deeper in my religion, in Christianity, when I was 20, 26 or 27, I went to seminary. Uh, 27. When I was 27, I went to seminary. Okay. A seminary was like, yeah, Christian University. In the seminary, we are trained to be pastor. We are trained to be theologian, and we are trained to be missionary. I decided to be missionary in my own community. But in the same time, I focus on theology because I wanted to become a theologian. That's why I went to the program to reach at least Master of Divinity. Yeah.
Right. So how long was that that phase of your life?
7 years.
Sorry?
7 years in seminary.
7 years.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
So
And
I learned quite deep in theology. I learned Greek, Hebrew, a little bit Latin to understand the Bible.
Right. So then what happened like after 7 years? Like something happened or
Okay. During my time in the seminary, I focused in biblical theology because I wanted to be a theologian. Focus on biblical theology, then integrated with mission. Then to see the Bible from biblical perspective, I realized that systematic theology a little bit different from biblical theology, because biblical theology focus on every book or every letter in the Bible. Systematic theology focus on development of theology, like for example, Christology. Just talk about Christ, Messiahship, but the development of the theology will take or derive from some letters in the Bible, which usually is not appropriate, or I mean, is not appropriate if we see the background that is not talking about Christology. That is only for example. For example, another example, the book of Daniel in Old Testament. Okay, there's a term, someone or something like Son of Man. Then from systematic theology, this term is developed to reach the divinity of Jesus, which actually is not appropriate because that is different thing. Yeah. If we see from biblical perspective, we see a deeper understanding of the term that is something else. Okay.
right? Honestly, I think this is like way advanced. I wish that's a more layman term that inshallah maybe we can understand better. So that I think that's really interesting that you actually are blessed and also had a chance to really go into that area of study. Yeah. So I think everyone, that is again the journey, a very unique journey that Allah has given to you, that you had the chance to learn that area, which I think not many people actually get that. Yeah. So then the point that you decided to embrace Islam, maybe you can tell us a bit more, like what was maybe like there's this one thing that made you say, yes, this is the religion that's going to guide me for the rest of my life, something like that.
Why I left Christianity? Because of course, as a Christian, I believe, or we have to believe that Jesus is God, right? That is derived from one term in Greek, curious, which actually in Greek the term curious is like the term Señor in Spanish, can be applied to God and also to human. Almost all translation, especially in Bahasa Indonesia, I think in Bahasa Melayu also, the translation of curious is Tuhan. So when the Bible says Jesus is curious, means for the Indonesian that is Jesus is God. That's the problem. So the problem is translation. Okay. When I learned Greek, then I understood this term and also all the context of the term applied to Jesus, I can say the term Tuhan for Jesus, most Indonesian will say Tuhan Yesus. That is not true according to the Bible. We have to translate curious as master, or maybe in Bahasa Indonesia or Malay, translated into Tuan, not Tuhan. Okay. Bible translation, earlier Bible translation before 1938 used the term Tuan for Jesus. Tuan Isa or Tuan Jesus, Tuan Yesus, not Tuhan Yesus. But then after Bode translation, Bode is the name of the translator, German translator. The term Tuhan has changed into Tuhan, Tuhan Yesus. But that's funny. Like for example, in the book of John or Yahya or Johannes, there's a woman, Samaritan woman, asked Jesus, who are you, sir? It should be sir, because the term curious. Then translated into Tuhan. Siapa engkau, Tuhan? That's funny, right? If she knows that Jesus is Tuhan, why she asks, who are you? And also, now I know that you are Tuhan. That is also funny. Because my understanding has changed that Jesus is not God according to the Bible. I have to give emphasis here that Bible never mentioned that Jesus is God. Okay, that's why I decided to leave Christianity. That was in year 2002, but I was in a dilemma because I had two choices, either to choose Judaism or Islam. Okay, because it according in terms of theology, Islam and Judaism is have the same idea of God. I mean, the Bible also has the same idea that God is one. There's no theology Trinity in the Bible. There's no Jesus is not God. So I had two choices, Judaism or Islam. Then I learned, because I learned also Judaism. In Judaism, Jesus is not recognized as Messiah, which is quite important for me, because I believe that Jesus is Messiah. And when I tried to check Quran, I started to read Quran in the language that I can understand, Bahasa Indonesia and also English. Quran says that Isa is Al-Masih, which means Messiah, which is very important terms in Jewish understanding in Hebrew Bible and also in the New Testament. So finally, I decided to embrace Islam, because in terms of theology, quite similar to the Bible. Yeah. Judaism doesn't recognize Jesus or Isa as Messiah. That is my decision.
Masya Allah. Masya Allah. This is really interesting, honestly, Dr. Rashid, because it's like every time I interview and we had chat like this, right? Every story is unique to me, it's unique. And your story is really, really unique as you really studied and you make comparison and with your understanding of what's mentioned in the Bible. And yeah, Jesus is not God in Bible, that it was, it was never mentioned. So yeah, to all our audience, our fans, followers who are actually watching this program, if you have questions or curiosity, or if your thinking, your research is still ongoing to do comparison and wanting to find out more, here you go. Our speaker and our sharer tonight, Dr. Ungaran Rashid, is here. I think it's, if in case you guys just came into the Zoom or to the live show and you missed what Dr. Rashid mentions this one, you can still watch back. Yeah, it's recorded on this Xin's Facebook. So I think that is really, really interesting. And I think if let's say given another 1 hour, I'm sure you can talk about it even more lengthy. I can imagine. So I was just thinking, right? Because I know you also involved in like speaking at the interfaith dialogue. Yeah. With, I'm sure when you in this kind of dialogue, there will be a lot of challenging questions, and yeah, maybe you can tell us more, like maybe some of the so-called FAQ or things that you were challenged, and yeah, maybe just mention one or two which you had encountered.
Yeah. In year 2012, I was invited in a forum, like forum, but most of attenders of that forum, theologian and missionary. It was in Houghton College in New York. I thought I was invited only to present my book, my thesis at the time, still thesis, The Meaning of Son of God. But then that forum, yes, discussed about the status of Jesus as Son of God. But then in the same time, it seems to me that they judge me, they accuse me by living Christianity. About 70 people came to that forum. 95% condemned me. They were upset that I left Christianity. Then I said, I left Christianity, but I don't live Jesus, of course, because if I live Jesus, also I'm not a Muslim, right? Because we have to believe in Jesus. Means Jesus is Messiah or Al-Masih and also prophet, but Jesus is not God. That is my position. Then they were upset. But what I couldn't do anything except just present my paper. But fortunately, about 5 or 6 people who understood biblical theology, they said nothing wrong with this paper, because that is true. The meaning of Son of God is Messiah or King, not God. According to Christian theology, Messiah or Son of God is God who became human. Okay, but according to the Bible, Son of God means Messiah and also King. That is my presentation. Then also I went to Korea and I presented my paper that finally became a book, The Meaning of Son of God. I presented in Chongsin University in Seoul, South Korea. some professors there also agreed with me, but of course they said this is in terms of academic approach and also biblical approach. This is true. We cannot say no, but in terms of faith, this is dangerous. They said, and the latest was last week in one forum also in Bangkok. I was invited in a forum for 5 days. Most of the attendees have theological background, and they said, yeah, we cannot deny that the meaning of Son of God is Messiah and King. Nothing to do with God's Godship. Yeah, but the same comment. This is good, but dangerous for Christian belief. Yeah, but that is my approach to do that one now through my book, The Meaning of Son of God.
Inshallah. So that is also jihad. That is also your part, like how to constantly, not say fight back, but to it's part of the effort for you to. So do you go for all these international conference quite often? As in, like you have to face this kind of so-called challenges. Like it's an ongoing activities.
Yeah, this is my way to do dawah through interfaith dialogue, interfaith study. I avoid to do debate, even though I was invited to do debate. That is not my way, because I have an opinion that debate will create only a bitterness and pride. For those who feel they won the debate, they will have pride. You see, I'm better than you. Those who lose will be offended and then will have bitterness.
Right.
I lost, then it was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. Yeah? Debate is embarrassing.
Right. It's like it has to be one win, one lose, and it's just creating competition.
Right.
You're right.
That's why I respect for those who do debate, but that is not my way.
Right. You have your own way.
Yeah.
And your style. We talk about all this interfaith dialogue and all that. It's like I would say like external, kind of external. But what about internal, as in like backtrack a little bit, like from your family and from your circle of friends or your closest relatives? Were there any
I didn't face any of course there's challenge, but for me that is not a big deal. Because why? Because I'm the only one who went to seminary in my family. So my knowledge about Bible is more than my relatives, other members of the family. So they couldn't say anything. Like my mother, for example, before she passed away, she always says, yeah, I cannot say anything, but still I pray for you. That is good. Then I, of course, as a son of her, I have to respect her. I have to respect my father, right? And I have to respect my sister, elder sister. I have one brother also. They are still Christian.
They're all back in Indonesia still?
Yeah, they are in Indonesia.
Right. So again, it's about respecting It's about still, supporting and respecting each other. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
Right.
also, I didn't ask my wife to follow me, but she finally embraced Islam also in year 2007, which means 4 years after me.
MashaAllah. What was her reaction? Was like,
uh, yes, I think she has her experience. So finally, she embraced Islam.
MashaAllah.
But I didn't force her. I've never forced my children. I've never forced my wife to embrace Islam. I've never forced my children also to do this, to do that. Like for example, to be honest, my daughter doesn't like to wear hijab. I don't force her to wear hijab. I want someone wearing hijab or follow God or whatever through their experience, not because I force them.
MashaAllah. Right. Yeah. So anyway, it's also, I think, we can pray for them. Like for many reverts like us, of course, we wish and we always pray that our family member who are non-Muslim will embrace Islam and will see, will get the hidayah. But again, it can be very sensitive. We can dakwah to me, we can dakwah to people who we don't know or stranger. But it comes to own family, it somehow become extra sensitive to talk about.
Yeah.
If you agree
Yeah.
with me.
But we have to.
We have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also a skill, and it's also I think that it's a way, like how do we do it? Because many will experience whereby when we embrace Islam, it created some tense or unpleasant scenario, or tense with our family member. So this topic sometimes may become very sensitive. Whenever you want to start that or say something, they become like the defense wall all go up. Right. Yeah, so I think
that's why my trick or my approach to do dawah, not to introduce Islam, but to introduce Allah, who Allah is. Someone must have good relationship with Allah. When someone has good relationship with Allah, he or she will not far from Islam.
Okay.
Because Islam is not only institution, right? Islam is way of life that Allah gave to us. Islam is not only institution. To become Muslim, you have to do this. But to become Muslim, we must have good relationship with Allah. When we have good relationship with Allah, we will have good relationship with others. Inshallah, people will not far from the way of Islam.
Interesting, mashallah. I think because there are many ways. There are so-called many angles, like how we can introduce Islam or to open the topic. Because as Doctor mentioned, it's a way of life. So as small little thing like when we are eating with non-Muslim friends, also actually there are angle or entry point that we can introduce. So there are multiple ways. But when you mention like relationship with Allah, I think that it's something I've not thought before. Like, it's a good point. I will contact you separately and see how we can talk about that. Yeah.
No, I can explain here.
Okay.
Because
we still have some time.
like for example, people, I mean Muslim, will focus on of course salat, right? Prayer. But focus on salat for many people now is about ritual only. Have you performed salat? Have you performed salat? But in the same time, because they don't have good relationship with Allah, salat is only ritual. Then when someone asks, have you performed salah? In the same time, he or she also does corruption. That is not the purpose of salah, only ritual. Because salah for me is relationship with Allah. 5 times a day, I mean 5 times a day for perform salah. That's important. But the essence of salah itself is more important
The essence, I
than
think, yeah,
ritual.
the
The essence
essence.
of salah. Yeah.
When you say essence, maybe you can elaborate more, like what do you mean by essence?
Relationship.
Mhm.
Relationship. Like for example, I have relationship with my wife. Okay, when I have good relationship with my wife, I will not see other women, right?
Okay.
But if I marry my wife only to fulfill requirement of marriage, then I don't have good relationship with my wife. Of course, I will see other women, the prettier woman than my wife. But if I have good relationship with my wife, I of course as a man, uh, a man when she's a pretty woman, of course we are interested. To be honest,
To be
but
honest, yes.
yeah, but if we have good relationship with our wife, that's only one of good creation of Allah. We will not try to approach the woman. But if we don't have good relationship with our wife, then every pretty woman we will try to approach.
Tempted, attracted,
The different.
the
This is
different.
the different essence and ritual.
Good. Sure. I think this is a very good point. Yeah, the relationship, because if people,
Mhm.
even a lot of new Muslim, yeah, after they embrace Islam and then when they meet Muslim friends, they say, oh, dah tahu solat dah. Have you learned how to pray? And have you
Mm.
prayed? Yeah, so yeah, as I talk to some new Muslims, sometimes they know this is something they need to do, but the switch as in they've never prayed, or maybe even, you know, like once a day. Now you're talking about like 5 times a day, and it may become a stressful thing for them.
Right.
But again, when they have the relationship, it's like calling your boyfriend girlfriend. It's like you know, you're just wanting to do it because of the closeness, the relationship.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a good analogy. Thank you so much. Right. So yeah, before we part of the program, and before we end it, we also want to hear from you, like how new Muslim can, what anything they can do to strengthen their faith. Yeah, strengthen their faith so that when people critique them, like, because I wanted to ask you this question because like just at the beginning of the program you were saying that, oh, you don't care if they think you are Filipino or whatever they think about you. So how do you have that kind of you know, very iman, that faith that I don't care and this is what I do and this is right? So maybe perhaps towards that scope for our new Muslim brothers and sisters here.
As I mentioned earlier, the important thing that we must have good relationship with Allah, right? When we have good relationship with Allah, then we can show our faith through others. That I mean, we can become a model for others. Like for example, some relatives who finally embraced Islam, they saw me, they saw the difference from me. Previously, I took alcohol, I smoked, but then later on, they don't see I smoke anymore. They don't see I drink anymore or even drunk anymore. Then this is um, what we have to do to show people. I mean, not show off like, hey, I am a Muslim. No, but just follow what God asks from us to do. That's all. And then don't force new believer, new Muslim to do many things. You have to perform salah 5 times a day. You have to read Quran in Arabic. You have to do this, that. That is boring thing. What we have to encourage to the new Muslim, to encourage them to understand, to know God more, to know Allah more. And
Right.
then learn also from all prophets, because all prophets were called by Allah to be a model, to be models for their people, right? Then learn from them.
Yeah, I think this role model thing, it's one of very effective way. From what I gathered from many of experiences that shared by some of the other speakers, it's really like start with ourselves, show the right thing, and just do it right before even telling them more, because most probably they also may not want to listen so much. But by seeing us as so-called they see us as Islam, or they see us as the religion itself, and from there, inshallah, time will prove.
One thing that I usually avoid, to judge people.
Not to judge, prejudge.
Not to judge. Yeah. Someone who is smoking, go ahead. If you think that is good for you, go ahead. But we have to think, is that good for us and also for others? Just to remind in that way. If you want to do this, go ahead. But the problem is that in accordance with the teaching of Allah or not. This is my experience. Many Muslims are very easy to judge. Hey, you do this, you will go to hell. You are far from heaven. Hell and heaven are not ours. That is especially heaven belongs to Allah. We are not judged to decide someone will go to heaven or to hell. What we have to do is only to show what God wants from us, then follow God's teaching, Allah's teaching.
Yeah, it's not for us to decide. And just like when we do da'wah, we can do all kind of things, but end of the day, whether that person's heart open to accept and to believe, that it's really not our call. And all we do is we just do our best, what we can do.
Because I learned from the life of Prophet Muhammad. Many of his relatives didn't embrace Islam, right? Then he didn't judge anyone. He didn't judge because he understood heaven belongs to Allah. Only Allah can judge us.
Right, great. That's a good and very enlightening. Now, so before we end the program, I would like to ask Dr. Rashid, like perhaps there's any resources, books, clips, or any recommended resources that for our brothers and sisters, so maybe if they want to explore more, want to read up more, is there any reliable materials? Because I can see that nowadays we have all kind of social media is just flooded with a lot of information. Sometimes we don't even know which one is the accurate one. So is there like any resources, reliable one for us to read on or listen in? I think people prefer to listen rather than to read, or I don't know.
Yeah. What I can suggest, just read the primary source that revealed by Allah, Torah, Jabur, Injil, and Quran. That is the most important thing. The other books, of course, important, but that is only additional book, additional reading for us. I force myself to read, and also I suggest my family to read the 4 books from Allah. That is the best way, and of course other books is only additional. We have to be careful to the books that we read. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's why I think it's very important to get the reliable resources, like where to read from and all that. But yeah, so if I know now, I know where I can go to. Like whatever you explained early on, personally to myself was like, wow, it's so advanced. I need to read up more and to understand, all these translations. So thank you very much for being with us.
If you want to join my class, you are welcome. I teach philosophy of religion. I teach evangelization and Christian mission, and also world religion. You are most welcome to join my class.
Thank you so much for offering help. Yeah, it's really very inspiring because honestly, I only listening, maybe understand, maybe says like 20% from what you mentioned. So it gives me like a big question mark. Oh, there's so much more I need to read up. Well, so thank you so much.
There's some questions, I think.
Okay, on the Facebook, yeah. From the Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you, Haji Jamal.
Facebook,
okay,
and also
so,
the chat.
in the chat. Okay, let me see. Okay, so on Facebook we have some questions here. Okay, from Abdullah. Thank you for the session and sharing the story. And then we have Engku Fauzi. Dr. Ungaran was from which church or congregation before embracing Islam?
Say again.
Which church were you from?
In Indonesia, we call Gereja Kristen Indonesia, Indonesian Christian Church, Anugerah, Bandung.
From Bandung.
Yeah, that is the denomination sort of Presbyterian. Presbyterian church, yeah.
Right.
But also I had opportunity to join a charismatic church, so I can understand the difference between charismatic and Presbyterian, Reform, not only from the class but also my life experience to join some churches.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, the chat. A question in the chat is actually is my question.
Yeah. Haji Jamal, if Jesus is not Messiah to Judaism, what is he? He's no one. For Jewish people, he's no one. Except now there's a movement in Judaism. They realize that Jesus is Messiah, is the Messiah. But the number of them is still small number, yeah. And also some in there's a movement Jews for Christ. I forget the term. This movement is in US. Basically, this movement is like Christian. They believe Jesus also God, but in Judaism itself, those who understand Jesus as Messiah, they don't believe that Jesus is God.
Thank you.
Well, good. Okay, so we hope we covered all the questions. Okay, we covered all the questions and all that. So yeah, so we've come to end of the program. Again, it's like a lot to learn, and it's every episode it's very exciting. I personally learned a lot from every episode from all of you. So thank you very much, Dr. Rashid, for spending the time, the evening with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we hope to maybe learn more from you. Let's see if we can arrange more the next session, maybe in time to come. Yeah,
Inshallah.
Haji Jamal, is there anything you want to add on before we end tonight's episode? Anything you want to add on or say or update anything about Exin?
Just thank you, Elaine. I think it was a very interesting session, and we learned a lot. I think the concept of explaining Islam, also da'wah, is actually to explain. It's not to convert anyone, because the decision to show Islam to a non-Muslim is what we call hidayah. And the hidayah,
Right.
the way, showing the way, comes from God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not from us. So we can only explain and we can only share with that. So thank you very much. I think next month we'll be having a very interesting guest. We hope to get you back, Dr. Rashid, on the show maybe a few months later, because I think it's not enough, because your transition and then you're coming to Malaysia is not yet
Covered.
not yet. So, but that's the whole idea. We want to keep it exciting, and hope that the audience will wait and try to find out what is the whole story. So the next session, inshallah, will be Brother Krish, a young person who was a former gangster, and he will share his experience next month, and we hope to get his views in the month of August. So with that, I thank you, Elaine. I thank you, Dr. Rashid, and good night. My wife has prepared soto, a nice soto today. I wish I could share with you guys. She did her breakfast just now, Ashura breakfast, and I'll be having it after this. But I'm sorry, I cannot send it to you guys.
Thank you for mentioning that. I'm going to get my supper soon then. Thank you so much. Yeah, so once again, thank you, our guest tonight, Dr. Rashid, and also Haji Jamal, personally, to spend your evening with us. I know can't wait, you want to go and get your soto cooked by your lovely wife. And I would like to also thank our organizing committee, our technical team, Kamil, Haji Adam, Kak and the rest. So also not forgetting all our fans, our friends, our followers who are watching us on Facebook and giving a lot of lovely comments and encouraging notes. Thank you for being with us all this while with this My Journey to Islam, this program all this while. So we look forward to see you again next month with another exciting story. So with that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam. Assalamualaikum. We're off, yeah, okay.